Well, on in game three of every series, a lot of times it can get crazy. I know you look at the scores all weekend around our league. I mean, they're high, and for us to hold, South Carolina today to one, we held them to one. I think Friday, only gave up four yesterday. I mean, our pitching staff was amazing all weekend. Offenses, was held down for about, I don't know, two innings today. It didn't look good, and we had a little frustration. Finally broke loose a little bit, and excuse me, the book on getting to I think Becker is that the lefties are the ones who hit him. Our lefties got one hit. I think Brady hit a ball down the right field line. I think it might have been the only hit against him, but the righties got him. Righties weren't hitting like 212 against him, and lefties almost 300, and stacked him up there in the middle against him, and he got him out. But really, the story of the day obviously was Hunter Holland. He was amazing. He gave up a home run to, I think, the 8-hole hitter, and was lights out after that, honestly. And I know he went probably 5 innings there in the middle towards the end of the game where he didn't work out of the stretch, and they finally got a hit on him there in the ninth, and we thought about taking him out. Going into the eighth, we thought that this would be his last inning. Well, then he goes out and works a great inning. Quick, it doesn't spend, and he's in the 90s, but there was no way we could take him out. He had a, the number of pitches, they do matter, but not as much as how stressful were they. How many tough innings did he have to fight out of? And he really only had one, I feel like. So great job by him on Mother's Day to get us a big series win against a really good team. And, now it's off to Vandy.
Who we asked you about Holland last week, you said something like the stuff was there, but the command wasn't quite where you'd expect. Was this kind of what you expected this week, that the command was there and everything?
Command was big. I mean, we were hoping that his command would get a little better than last week. And today I just felt like he just really pitched. He just pitched. He fastballs, changeups, cutters, sliders. He just mixed it, and all of them were right around the plate. Even as it misses, a lot of times were really close. And they got into swing mode because they felt like they were going to be behind 0-1, 0-2, so they just went up there hacking and hit some ground balls, pop ups, and you got a few strikeouts mixed in there, and just did a tremendous job.
Holt had 3 hits today. Roland had a big RBI hit. Bolton had a double. Just what did you think of the production at the bottom of your lineup?
Yeah, that's what I said out there after we congratulated, Hunter, that said something like, how about the 7, 8, 9 hole hitters today? And the team kind of erupted. They did a great job. And then, Callie was hitting 6 today, I think. And he also ended up with 3 hits. And at the end of the order did it for us today. I mean, you look at the top of the order, you got a lot of 4s and some 0s there. And then there's a 4 with 1 hit, another 4 with 1 hit. And after that, it gets kind of pretty. So that's what you got to have. A lot of times the big boys up top, they can't do it all the time, and you got to get some help. And our lineup seemed a little longer today than it had been in the last few days.
Speaking of that, it seems like when one guy in the lineup gets hot, one might cool off, and then it kind of flips. Like Callie was quiet the first 2 games and had 3 hits. Just what have you made for the way the lineup just seems to rise to the occasion and do what they need to do each week, and it's kind of different guys doing it each time?
Yeah, it just team, they just pull for each other, and they fight now, and that's the way it works. And honestly, I kind of feel like our hitters are just a little bit tired, and we're going to back off on their swings, and I'm not going to let anybody hit tomorrow at all. I'm going to lock the batting cages. I'm not letting them hit. They're not hitting when I'm around anyway. I just think they need to rest, maybe light Tuesday, if any. Let's go over to Vandy and practice and see what happens, because we need to get it going. And the heat jumped on. We played really hot weather last weekend, hot again. Got to get acclimated. Obviously, I feel like Nashville will be hot, and then Hoover's always hot. Probably be December and it's hot in Hoover. Yeah,
it feels just like 5 pitchers this weekend, but you guys are now first in the league in SEC, ERA during conference play. Just what have you made of the way this pitching staff has come together and seems to be kind of getting it together at the right time?
Just some guys pitching well. I mean, I don't know what to say. Coach Hobbs done a great job and bringing those guys along, and working the injured guys back in. Like Brady and some of those guys that have had to slowly come back. And yeah, I mean, I think what it's done too is, I have confidence in a couple of those freshmen too. I just think they just, a guy like Powell, he's got good stuff. Maybe a couple of weeks off like this, he'll be ready to go. And he'll get the ball probably next weekend. And if not then, he'll get it in Hoover. And we got to see what we got there because we could use another couple of guys, obviously. So the coach has done a great job. The pitchers have done a great job of keeping themselves in shape and healthy down the stretch and really throwing a lot of strikes.
Any games in which you've had a pitcher retire 19 batters in a row like that today?
No, I don't know about that many. I remember Jess Todd struck out about 19 one time for us against South Carolina, and we ended up losing. So it wasn't great, but it was great for him and fun for a while. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be a tough one there to remember.
The Ben McLaughlin home run in the 8th, he fouled off 6 pitches and then went deep. What'd you see from him in that at bat?
Well, he just kept fighting. He was really frustrated. Ben's kind of quiet, kind of popular in the dugout with the team, just a fun guy to be around, but doesn't say a whole lot. And you could see the emotions. Some guys, they let it out. He holds it in a little bit, and he hadn't had a good weekend, and he hit a ball hard today, and they kind of had the shift on him a little bit. He smoked it right at the third baseman, playing almost shortstop, and struck out a couple times, a few times yesterday. And he's not really a guy that strikes out normally. And for him to fight like that, and then he caught enough of that ball and had a lot of backspin on it. The ball traveled. Did it hit top of the fence? I thought that's what I saw, but that was a big run for us. You go from 3 to 4, that's a little more difficult, especially mentally if you're swinging the bats. It's that 4th run is a little tough.
Remember the last time you got a 9-inning complete game in the SEC play? I'll get Oliver Anderson looking out for me, but just what'd you think of that and how rare that is these days for any school?
I can't remember one. I can't remember the last time. And I know that that's our first complete game this year. I don't, maybe in a couple of years. I don't remember, honestly.
Slot Tech.
Yeah, there you go. See, like I said, I was worried about today, but there you go. Mac had one, and kind of the same thing. He just pitched to contact a little bit. That's how you get him. You can't strike everybody out. I mean, Hunter still had 10 strikeouts. That's a lot of pitches right there. I mean, what's that, Bob? Would that be 30 right there at least at a minimum? Yeah. Anyway, so that's what happens when you strike people out. Your pitch count gets up, and yeah. So that's 2 this year. So did we have any last year, Oliver? I didn't think the year before when you were a rookie. Yeah. I mean, it was, they're rare. They're rare and they're hard. You just don't want to stress guys out like that. This time of the season, warm day, it was a perfect scenario.
Stunning. So he threw 113 pitches, 80 strikes. That's only 33 balls. I don't know.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Just what'd you think of that ratio?
That's an incredible percentage. That is big time percentage right there. And, for him to do that, it just keeps your fielders on their toes. When you're pounding the strike zone, as a former infielder, I loved it. I mean, it was like every pitch, it's like, here it comes, coming to me. It's coming to me. And, I don't know if we made an error this weekend. Did we make an error? I mean, that's great. And, sometimes you have some tough plays and you boot a ball or you throw a pick off away. They might have only made one error as well, that pick yesterday. But if you look at the fielding percentages of both teams are almost identical. Our stats are pretty close to identical, except they've got more home runs than us. So we knew it was going to be a tough series.
And Hoover.
Great.
So yeah, how good is that?
Means we get to play at least 2 and use a lot of pitching and hopefully hang out for a while.
Your home record, we've talked to you about that a lot, but 30-4 now. I think 13-2 in the SEC, and you're presumably going to get some more home games in regional. Just how good have you guys been at home, and how good is it to know you played well enough to where you're going to get to play some more at home?
Yeah. This year we played great at home, and the crowd's been good, especially the second half of the season. I think with all the injuries and everything that's going on, they were kind of waiting to see how we were going to be and wait for the weather to get better. But second half of the season's been amazing. Last year we didn't play great at home. This year we I think, there's good and great, or probably somewhere in between there. That's how we played here. The guys are comfortable here.
You guys talked about Tavian Friday night. I wasn't here, but I saw the transcript. But now that you had a whole weekend to process his, how big was it to have him back, and how did he play,
Yeah.
coming off a bit of a layoff, and do you have any update on Wagner?
Yeah. So Tavian was, in the first 2 games, I think he walked 4 or 5 times, got a hit or 2, on base a lot, getting those at bats under his, under his belt is good. He didn't get a hit today, but he battled, saw some pitches. It's really good to get him back. And then I feel like that Wagner is going to be back, hopefully, for Vandy. Today he had a glove on for the first time on his correct hand. He's been running around with a left-handed throwing glove, catching fly balls in BP. But he had a glove on, running, catching balls. I saw him play catch a little bit. His arm's fine, legs are fine. Just got to get that thumb right. You just got to get that bat in his hand. And if anybody, I may be wrong, I will let one person hit tomorrow. It'd be him. If he wants to hit, we need to get him hitting Tuesday, Wednesday. It'd be nice to get him in the lineup this weekend. He's probably already got him.
You're talking about fatigue with your players. I don't think a game this weekend went more than 2 hours and 36 minutes. Does that help?
Yeah, it helps a lot. It's more of the heat and the travel and the finals and the stress, mental stress, and big series. I think now, got that behind him a little bit and get him ready for the stretch run here the next few weeks.
Games in the SEC are so high scoring, but with these 2 teams in particular, you're 2 of the higher scoring teams in the conference. Is it surprising to see this series in particular be so low scoring?
I just credit it with really good pitching. Both teams pitched really well, didn't walk a lot of people. Both teams fielded the baseball well and didn't give you extra outs that way. And, a lot of times that's the way the game's supposed to be played, really.
Seems like something maybe has flipped with Bolton offensively since the A&M series. He's been really good the last 3 weekends. Just what have you seen from him?
Coach Thompson, they made a couple adjustments, and more of it was more of just a little bit of how he's going to attack the ball. And, he's done a good job. He doubled down the line, a double in right center, lined out. He's just doing a good job offensively. I think that he's starting to get some confidence, and it's nice to have a guy down there in the 9 hole that can take a walk, steal a base. And now if he can hit a little bit for us, let the top order drive you in, move you around, drive you in. So it's been really good to see.
Dave, I know Andrew asked you about only using 5 pitchers on the weekend, but when you're obviously down guys and Brady's probably still on a pitch count or has been, how big is that to only need 5 guys and you win the series?
Yeah, if you only throw 5 guys in a 3-game series, and I would have to say that you're more than likely you won the series. And it's not like we don't want to get the other guys some work or get them out there. We have confidence in them, but it's just the way it worked. It started with Smith and Wood on Friday and continued yesterday, and then today. We figured we'd use 2, maybe 3, and more if we needed, but it worked out. And yeah, they should be really rested for next weekend.